This is Course Crash American History, and today we're going to talk about the evolution of animation. Early animation used a technique called stop motion. This is where you take several pictures and compile it to create a moving video. So if I were to take these pictures and play it back to you, it would look like this. The earliest accounts of animation were very primitive, but soon became more complex, like with Gertie the Dinosaur and Little Nemo. During this time, John and Olive Bray and Earl Hurd patented cell animation, which is a process of using several layers of drawings that could be moved in order to save time in the making of the animation. The most popular cartoon series during the silent era was Pat Sullivan's Felix the Cat, which was created in 1919 and was widely popular during the 20s. However, the studio came into trouble during the advent of sound cartoons in the early 30s when the popularity of Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse was rising above Sullivan's Felix, which started the golden age of animation. This period was called the Golden Age because it spawned many well-known characters like Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Popeye, Tom and Jerry, and many more. These characters also started to be shown in color and sound more frequently. Certain cartoons were used as propaganda for World War II, like the Three Little Pigs that replaced Wolf with Hitler, or cartoons of Donald Duck encouraging paying income taxes. And since more and more cartoons were being dished out, a strategy called limited animation started being used, which are many different techniques that would shorten the time needed to create a scene. Some include the reusal of cells or frames, or only having new drawings every other frame, which would make 12 drawings per second instead of 24. Though limited animation made the process shorter and cheaper, in 1946 the Animation Union negotiated a pay increase of 25%. Also, the Hollywood Antitrust Act in 1948 got rid of the guarantee on theaters for cartoons from any of the studios. This made theater showings riskier and forced studios to use the popular television to show their works. Following the fall of theatrical cartoons, Disney continued to dominate as Warner Bros. Shut down its animation studio in 1963, but reopened a few years later. Around the same time was the introduction of Saturday morning cartoons, anime, and animated music videos. There were also attempts at making cartoons that had a more mature target audience, but this genre didn't catch on very well until the modern age of animation. In this era, Disney, yet again, dominates. From 1989 to 1999 was called the Disney Renaissance, because the company experienced a creative resurgence in producing successful animated films based on well-known stories, which restored public and critical interest in the Walt Disney Company as a whole. During this decade, the studio produced and released 10 animated films: The Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, The Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan. But for the first time since the Golden Age, actual competition for Disney rose. This came from Don Bluth, who created films like Thumbelina and Land Before Time. And later, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network presented more competition. Around this time was the rise of 2D and 3D computer animation, which was easier because objects could be split into parts and moved separately, and reusing character models was easier than ever. This also meant that traditional animation started to decline, but many popular stop-motion films are still present today, including The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and Wallace and Gromit. Foreign competition for these American films came with what was known as the anime explosion, which created Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Fullmetal Alchemist, Naruto, Bleach, and many more. Animation today has become a part of our daily lives, whether it's the colorful Disney classics or the show that revolutionized adult animation. I think it's fair to say that we all have our share of cartoon memories. Course Crash is produced by me, the writing is done by me, and animation is done by Chicken Cake Animations, which is still me. That makes no sense.